We're back. We're back here in the lab, ready to get to it. We got a special guest today, Shawn Villasenor, the town gentleman, as he just let us know what it stands for. That's actually what his last name stands for. That's not just because he's a Bay Area representative, a staple in our community. It's who he is. It's in his blood. It's in him, not on him.
That's right.
Feel me?
Also known as Build a Beast.
Build a beast.
Man, trying to build and keep growing you, man. Thank you for having me today. This has been a long time coming. Ever since we closed my house together, you said we're going to do this, and I told you I got you. I haven't done a podcast 7+ years. I turn them down every week.
Oh, shit.
But I definitely had to give them my boy.
That's what's up.
Respect.
Appreciate it. Much love on that.
Respect.
So in true fashion, for those of you who know Shawn, big Hennessy guy, Hennessy rep, Hennessy advocate,
ambassador.
We in true fashion we have
brought to you by.
That's right.
That heme.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I will.
I'll sip my agua.
It's all right. So
Agua is life.
Exactly. You gotta have balance.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
it's all about balance.
For your listeners, for every cup of Hennessy, drink some water. You'll feel better in the morning.
That's my staple for real. Especially with a newborn and a kid, like I got to be able to function next day. So it's all about functionality and being smart.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, congratulations. Let's start off with that.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the newborn. Number two.
Two boys.
Two boys. That's a blessing.
We're in the club.
I don't know.
Shoot.
Yeah, I don't know how I pulled out 2 boys, but definitely blessing. I don't know. Camilo is the newborn, and Mateo's the oldest. Mateo's crazy. I'm hoping Camilo's a little more calm. So far, he's been more calm.
How old?
He's 9 days old, and
Mateo's
fresh. 5 years. Just started kindergarten last week, so it's been a lot going on in the house. You know what I mean?
At least you got the toddler who could kind of like listen, maybe help, grab a diaper or two.
Yeah,
I'm going through that right now. I got a 1.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like playing zone defense, trying to catch him. So
right now the 5-year-old wants to like hold him, and even when he's crying, I'm like, he's not ready. Right. And I don't fully trust him yet because he's so rough, and I'm like, you got to be super gentle. Right. And he's loving, but then he's also got this super aggressive side, like always wants to fight me. I'm like, bro, you can't fight your little brother.
You're gonna have two baby beasts.
Ready.
Yeah,
basically. He's ready.
2 baby beasts.
Yeah.
Shit.
So that's brand new. That's crazy. I even appreciate even more you being on, because I know you guys got a lot going on.
You can thank my wife. I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, shout out Monica. She's a real one.
Yeah, she said I could come. I'm like,
she's a real one. Yeah, she's a real one. You know, I know she's highly supportive of you
sure.
and your industry and what you got going on. So
and your industry. I mean, you guys have your relationships, and she's been in this business a little bit, so she knows the importance of us buying the house and the generational wealth and changing our family's future. Right. You know what I mean? Changing my kids' future. You know, being raised in a foster home, I didn't have none of this stability. So actually being able to accomplish this, I'm 44 years old and I'm still mind blown. Like, I'm at this point in my life. Like, seems too good to be true, but it's also, I believe in karma and everything I worked for and putting that energy in the air, and it came back around, you know what I mean? So it's a huge blessing.
That's what's up. That's real. So, tell us a little bit about kind of like, I met you, maybe 2015. That's when I started kind of getting into nightlife, and maybe like it was probably a little bit after that actually. So I know your run has been longer than since 2015. You've had a pretty successful long
Hall
run.
of Fame career.
Yeah. Like, if you could tell us a little bit of kind of like, whatever you're willing to share of like kind of your story and where it started. I know it's been a run. So where did it start, and kind of like what got you going into like this whole Hennessy thing, this whole Build a Beast thing, and like tell us a little bit about your story.
So I went to San Francisco City College. Couldn't really truly get my act together there. All my roommates played ball. Went back home. Went to Foothill. And, we're at this age where, we're going out every weekend trying to figure out what to do. You're like 19, 20. Now you're 21. You're always looking for something to do. And being with a big group of guys, they're always hating. Like, can't get in.
Yeah.
This is there's always one or two. So eventually we got to this point, like, let's start our own parties. We know hella people. We got the whole football team. We got security. We could do whatever we want. We got the streets. We got this. We got the ladies. So, we started throwing our own parties. 2002 Glass Cat. just did it just to do it, you know what I mean? Just so we wouldn't have the stress of getting in.
So your first events were like at an actual like club venue?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, the first one I did was with my boy Charles Starp in Palo Alto, PA. He was playing football while he was home. We did his birthday at Icons in Palo Alto. I think that was called. It used to be called the Edge way back in the days. But when we moved to the city, started doing it in the city, there was like not a lot of hip hop Thursdays. San Jose had Beehive, so we're like, we want to implement that into the city. We started every other Thursday and just kept building. Eventually, you know, I took the party down to San Jose, branched off over there. I grew up in the peninsula, so I was kind of in between everything. You know what I mean? I had to reach throughout the Bay. You know, and then started doing a day party with my boy Nappy, Sunday sessions at Myth. We're actually bringing that back for Labor Day, most likely. Partnering with Anthony, doing Sundays sessions, combining parties. So more info coming on that soon. We're going to drop that probably next day or two.
The Bay Day parties are back?
Yeah, all white Labor Day. Like, we're infamous for this. You know, we would sell out by 5
Schedule my babysitter now.
There you go.
So, you know, I just kept building my brand, not really realizing it. You know,
This was before social media got big too.
Yeah, so I always really implemented social media. You know, being in the Bay Area, we had social media before anybody else had social media. You know, when I first started throwing parties, I was on MySpace, C-Pixel, Black Planet, Asian Avenue, Mahente.
Mahente.
Yeah, like every little social media. Even my roommate would post on Craigslist, like party at Julia's.
Yeah, like BlackBerry Messenger.
Yeah, so like I utilized social media before social media was a thing. So I always had a heavy social media presence. That's like, everybody's like, how do you have 30,000 followers? I was like, I've been doing this for 20 years. You know, I'm out and about. I'm always meeting people. This is just what I do.
Did that just come natural to you? Like, you know, or were you just, you know, what made you even go that route? Like, it was just a natural thing?
I mean, you know, I worked at Stanford in the day, so I would sit on a computer anyway. So I'm in ALL chat rooms and everything else talking to girls. Like, you know, I'm hollering at girls all day. And then I get those girls to holler and work for me. Like, basically, bring your friends out to the club. Just kept building. Now I got the East Bay, I got the South Bay, I got North Bay. And all these girls know each other, and they're all working together. All come to party, like, oh, we're going to come to your party. So it naturally grew as social media grew. So I could see the progression with it. And it's quite mind blowing to now where we're at now. Like, that's all you really have, because I came from the era where we started. Like, we'd be out at the club every night passing out flyers to girls walking out the club, putting them on cars. But we utilized both, so that really helped.
I was when I started, I was always kind of interested in like throwing parties and nightlife, even in high school. And I remember we were still in that era where we were still passing out flyers. I remember going to like Marine World and just like,
guerrilla marketing.
Guerrilla marketing.
But you was like, you know, I was that kid in high school, was like, you know, just going up to the girls like, hey, here, you know, come to our party at the malls, Sun Valley Mall, Hilltop Mall, Marine World. Like, that was part of it. And then as social media started picking up, you know, like even getting into that, which was like a better platform to reach more people, right? So
100%. I mean, social media is everything, but then at the end of the day, like, I still go back to guerrilla marketing, because there's no, like, everybody says, what do you do? Like, the best way to touch somebody is actually touch them. You know what I mean? Physically meet you, listen, and make that impression. A DM, a girl has 100 DMs. Right? You meet them in person, you have this, now you have this connection with them, so next time you hit them or text them, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember you. Like, it was cool. So the guerrilla marketing, I still think, goes a lot further than social media, because social media, everybody and their mama's on it, literally, so you can get lost in, like, my DMs. Like, I might not see it for a week or so, you know what I mean? So, like, but if you actually hit me in person,
it's like,
but I don't want to say that either.
It's like a trailer to a movie, right? Social media is. You see this trailer. The trailer could be fire. You're like, damn, this is about to be a lit ass movie. And you get there and you're like, if the guy's not, you know, you as a person, if you're not living up to who you are on the internet, then they're going to be a little let down, right? So having that groundwork as a person, like you're saying, being there from the jump without social media, doing the guerrilla marketing really plays into your favor, because when they see you and they meet you, they're like, oh, this is exactly how he is online. Like, dope. Like, this cat's hella cool, right? So
not only that, like, even, you know, people are smart. You know, like, if you send out a generic message to everybody, copy paste, like, they know. Like, when you get a like or a message on your Instagram and you look at it and you could tell it's from a bot or something, you don't really care. You just skip through it. You know what I mean? So there's something to be said about that human element, which we deal with on our side too, because 100%. There's always new technologies and AI trying to figure out ways to reach more people. But at the end of the day, that human element is
the networking.
Yeah,
it's a network. That's what I tell everybody. Like, you know, every youngster asks me like, oh, put me on. Like, I can't just put you on. Like, you have to build your own brand before I can help try to elevate you to another level. But if you haven't even started here, there's no way I can put you here. Like, you know, you got to put that work in. And and they're like, well, how do you do that? Just be out and
start.
about.
Don't just gotta start.
Don't skip steps.
I mean, the nightlife industry is so synonymous to like any type of business development, procuring client mentality, right? And it actually is tougher because there's way more competition that comes in. There's flashing lights. There's all this stuff that's way more sexy to the person like in the now. And you got to constantly. I was like describing this today with someone on the phone. I was like, man, you know what's cool is like in nightlife to have that career, like you said, a Hall of Fame career essentially. You have to be able to reinvent yourself consistently and stay relevant. And that's probably, to me, would be the hardest part. Yeah. And that's what almost real estate is, or, you know, any other sales is, right?
The Bay Area is tough. I mean, you've done really, really well with like a consistent party in the Bay Area, at least as long as I've been noticing, right? Or I've been in the industry, right? Like, I was in the industry. That's what actually got me started in my real estate career. Like, I was in nightlife first, and I was doing the Facebook ads. I was doing like the mail or the Eventbrite, like using the database, using
building
the
your
CRM,
clientele,
sending out the emails, right? Like, I was doing all that background work. Not only that, but also using starting to use videographers and stuff like that to create that trailer for the party, right? And pushing it on social media. So when I was doing that in the nightlife industry, when I started in real estate, I started using that same like mindset.
I noticed.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
I was like, okay.
Like back in the day, like
smart.
in 2015, 2016, I didn't really have a lot of like young real estate agents to look up to. Like a lot of the agents that I knew were older. They already had their business. They had their certain style of marketing. But I was coming in like as a 25, 26-year-old. I didn't really, have a database. So I was like trying to reinvent how real estate is marketed on social media. So I used those tactics that I used in the nightlife industry to kind of relate it to, or like use it for real estate to try to build my brand and build my business.
And that's the trend now, right? Yeah. Everybody's doing videos of houses, this and that. Like everybody's trying to push themselves as a brand. That's, it's something that has evolved. And I've been preaching this for years. Like everybody's like, what do I do? How do I do this? So it's like, at the end of the day, you do good business. Have nobody speak bad about you. Like, don't burn bridges, because you never know when you got to cross that bridge again in life. And that's the hardest part of my job, is biting my tongue. You know what I mean? I deal with a lot of egos, whether it's owners, DJs, artists. You know what I mean? Like everybody. And there's so many times I want to go off, or like I have a text ready to go off, and my wife's like, "Don't send that. Don't send that. Don't send that." Like, you're right. I'm gonna go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, let me take this out. And at the end of the day, it all works out because I bit my tongue instead of creating more fires, slapping back at this dude or whatnot. But to go what you're saying, like you're trying to find the next trend. No, you were starting the next trend, because it really is what every real estate agent is doing now. Like if I on social media, like you're
inundated with it now, right? So it's like now it's like, okay, now what do we
next?
Do to set ourselves apart, right?
Definitely. So like you said, 2015, 2016, it's already evolved where everybody's done it now. And it's the same with us in the marketing for spirits, like being with Hennessy. It's always like, all right, we created this team. I've been on the team for 9 years. The team's been around a little over 10 years. So I've been there almost since, day one. And we created such a monster. Like every other brand is trying to mimic what we do, but they can't truly mimic what we do, because
you're ahead of the game already.
That, and like our team is just so entrenched in the culture, like so deep in it, like we can do whatever we want to do because we have the connections to do it. So you could take our playbook, but don't mean you can pull the play. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's really about your relationships and your connections to be able to do it. Everybody's like, what do you do? I just make it happen. It's like, they're going to ask some crazy stuff, and somehow, I'm going to make it happen.
But that's 20 years of...
Exactly.
Of basically your entire resume of you sitting there doing it, and your experience is what comes through now, right? And that's where I mean,
it's experience, but I would say it's more relationships. Yeah. Because like someone hit me the other day, like, wow, and I haven't talked to them in like a decade. They're like, wow, you still got the same number? I was like, yeah, that's crazy. I've had the same number for 20 years. That just shows you I ain't dodging or ducking nobody. You could always get a hold of me. I do good business. I'm not trying to change it or run for nobody. I'm here to stay. This is who I am. I'm going to keep it real with you, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen together. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I'm about respect, and you're going to respect me. I'm going to respect you, and that's it. I'm about business at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
So what started the whole Hennessy, like how did you get, teamed up with Hennessy?
So 9+ years ago, that's when I was doing Sunday sessions with Nappy, which was like the biggest day party, hip hop party in the Bay Area at the time. This was about a year before Sunday started. And, you know, my name just kept popping up when they wanted it. So they had 4 markets when they started, 4 big markets. They wanted to branch off and add Chicago and the Bay. So my name kept popping up. I had a couple people reach out to me, like, apply for this, but no one could fully explain the job because you can't really explain the job. It's so much stuff. So I'm like,
atmosphere feeling.
I'm interviewing for this job multiple times, and I still didn't even know what the hell I'm really interviewing for. Like, my boss told me the first time she interviewed me, she did me it was a phone interview. I was in Vegas, and like a night after the party, and it was like 11. She interviewed me with the whole team on the line. They're all asking me questions, and I'm like, you know, I have no idea. She said it was the worst interview ever. She was like, I'm just glad I gave you a second chance. So they flew out here, interviewed me in person. Then I flew to New York with one other person. We were 2 finalists. You know, went out that night after corporate meetings all day. Went out that night. We're with who were we with? Man, Coke Boys, all them, like in New York, just turned up. And you know, I made a lasting impression. I got the job. First year, I damn near quit so many times. My boss was so hard on me. Shout out Clarabelle. But she made me who I was. You know, she made me ready. She's like, you got to be ready for this. She just rolled me. Dominican from New York, like, she's just hard.
Oh, okay.
And she used to work for Puffy, so she just, like, straight to it. And she made my skin tough, you know what I mean? She's like, there's no excuses. Just make it happen. And 9 years later, I'm still going. I could never picture this, like, starting throwing a party the way I did to, like, working for a nationally world-known brand like Hennessy, traveling the world, you know, going to Cognac, going to New York, going to all these big award shows, the NBA partnership, like buying a house. Right. It's insane to me, but I'm blessed at the end of the day, and I'm just appreciative to still be here and still doing it and trying to keep moving, make moves that start movements. Literally, the littlest move, like, I'm going to throw a party with my boys because we can't get in, and that led me to here.
Butterfly effect, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely compounds.
Yeah. That's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you've had a successful run with Hennessy and just building your own brand and, you know, marketing social media, and it allowed you to build a family. It allowed you to, and I know you have other things that you do as well, and it allowed you to, you know, buy real estate. So, you know, why don't you tell us a little bit, like, about your experience with real estate? Like, I know even before we bought that, you know, did the most recent transaction, you had the house in, was it Santa Clara?
I had a house Santa Clara, Stockton, and Sac. So that was, you know, I think it was like 2010 when the economy was booming. Before that,
I was going to ask, how did that impact you? Because I mean,
I filed bankruptcy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The market crashed, everything went upside down. I got kind of, you know, tricked into buying, like, oh, we could do this.
Right.
We'll give you this and just make it happen, and we'll help you get renters. It was just way different era.
I mean, you'd put a post up probably a couple of months ago, and that's what me and him were talking about, kind of sparked the thought of, like, definitely getting you in here.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you were vulnerable on social media, which I think is cool, and you were talking about the BK.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, if I can do it, you can do it, just kind of being motivated.
Yeah,
like
I mean, at the end of the day, once you hit rock bottom, it is what it is, right? Like, all right, you're going to sit here and complain, which I did, like, when I was 18, 19, when I first got out of foster care, you know, and I'm thrown into the real world and I'm not ready, I have no one to support me. It took me a year or two to realize, like, no one's going to help me. Yeah. Like, I can sit here and feel sorry for myself, but all I did was lose a year or two to get further behind everybody else that already has people, like, their family or everybody else helping them. So that mentality, when I hit rock bottom, was like, all right, every spare moment I have, I'm going to work. Even, like, working at 24-hour fitness, minimum wage, trying to draw, whatever. Started throwing parties again because I stopped for like a year or two. So I got back into that, and the gym, club, you know, it all works together. The more people you know, the more people, more sales, et cetera. So really it was just humbling myself to the bottom, like, do whatever you got to do, work every spare moment. You can't go no lower, so you're here, climb up, keep growing, and do it. And so, you know, I put a little plan together, like, I'm going to just work my ass off for the next 5 years, buy this car. I bought a Camaro 2010, like, it was 20,000 miles on, almost new. 29% interest rate. You know, it's first move after bankruptcy.
Right.
But I had no choice. You know, it's like I had to do
you gotta
something.
build.
Yeah.
You got to rebuild.
The only way I could start this credit is by taking this L, but at least I have a nice car.
Because I pull up fresh.
Yeah. So, you know, a year or two in, and I'm like, all right, I could refinance it, lower it. Kept doing that, just making every payment. And then Hennessy started and everything else. And everything I did is like, all right, this is what I'm going to spend this month. This is what I'm going to put to the side. You know, then I'm going to use credit cards for everything. I literally almost pay the credit card every month. Just keep using, keep paying, keep
building,
keep paying. Yeah, and you know, time flies. Literally,
Right.
older. I'm 44, so the older you get, the faster it flies. So literally, so I'm like, I just keep doing it. I'm like, whoa, my credit score is 800 now. Like, hey, we got
go.
Yeah.
So you developed those good habits, you know, after B came, really, right? Or did you have those good habits before?
No, I definitely didn't have it.
Like, what taught you
in my
those good
20s
habits?
and my 30s, you don't know shit. You're just
Right.
like, all right, I'm making $1,000, $2,000 at the club. I'm gonna go buy a Gucci shirt. Like I'm spending it as fast as I go, and not thinking of anything for the future because you're definitely living in the moment. The older you get, and the more mistakes you make. I mean, personally, at least, and I would hope for everybody else, is you eventually learn. I'm hard-headed as hell. I'm a Taurus, so it took me a little while, but once I learned, then I learned. You know what I mean? Like, all right, this is what it is. This is what I gotta do. I can't make these same mistakes. I love cars. I've had hella cars, but like I bought a Camry. I sold all these other cars. Like I bought more economical stuff and just really focused on what I needed to do.
Right.
And because I knew it would get me to where I wanted to be.
Right.
So.
Right. And what did you lose in the BK? Like what led up to even that point?
I mean, that's when the housing market crashed. So I was working for my boy. I was a GM at a transmission shop. You know, I had an old school 71 Cutlass. I took a loan out on, flipped that. And then, you know, he had to sell the business because economy went to crap. All the housing market went upside down.
Did you own multiple properties at that time?
I had 3 houses.
You had 3, okay.
So, yeah. So it was.
When did you first buy your first one? How old were you? Or what year was that?
I want to say 28, 29.
Okay.
So, and they weren't the smartest moves. It was almost like me getting
Swindled.
Yeah, it was a different era, like altogether.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like they're like, I can do this for you, I can do that. All you gotta do is sign here, and we're gonna make this happen. We'll get you renters, yada yada yada. And I'm like, oh, you gonna give me money? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Make it happen.
Yeah.
So you bought 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, very similar to like what our business partner Ty would say. Like he was just buying houses. He thought he was a real estate mogul.
Yeah,
You know,
it was so
houses,
easy
buying
back then.
houses.
Right.
Yeah,
They didn't check stuff. Now the process is stressful. You had to hold her hand away, like James, and then I just get like, all right, you're doing my wife. Just let me know where I got to sign, where I got to move money. Like this is too stressful.
Yeah.
But you definitely helped us with that, and it made it a lot smoother. You know what I mean? And even the day you gave us the key, I got COVID.
COVID the same day. COVID the same
I'm
day.
moving, get the keys, got to move everything. I'm ready to faint, moving boxes. Like it was brutal.
Yeah.
But
I think what was cool about that situation is like Lopez showed up to when we went to see the house, right?
Did a walk around before we even put the bid in.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So
And
we
I feel
knew
like,
what we were getting into.
Right.
And
I
my
feel like
wife
that
had
was
so many questions.
Right. And I feel like that was like a big part of like you guys even feeling comfortable with that. I mean, at least it made me feel
honestly, that
comfortable.
was everything. Yeah. Well, more so my wife. It made me comfortable, but me is one thing, but making my wife, happy life.
Absolutely.
Like, so if she's comfortable and she's ready to make this move, I'm gonna make it happen. You feel me? Like, and you gave her that. Like, all right, so what do we got to do here? What do we do this? What do you think?
And it came out beautiful. You guys killed it.
We put a lot of money into it, but
you guys killed it.
It's already like over $1 million.
I was gonna say you guys bought at like the perfect time.
100%.
Like low prices, low interest rate. I mean, it was like a fixer. I knew the listing agent.
Yeah, I would say so many things went right. Like you knowing the listing agent, like her being your mom's friend.
Yeah.
Like when we first saw it, it ended up being someone bid on it, and it was already in what do you call it?
In contract.
In contract, whatever. And then all of a sudden, bam! The day we sold, because we had the house in Sunnyvale. The what do you call it?
The double wide or the it's like a manufactured
manufactured home
in
Sunnyvale. The day we went into contract selling that, the other one went back on market. I'm like, bro, hit down, let's see it. A couple days later, we're like, all right. And then we did
Like, it was super Mickey Mouse too. Like that guy, whoever owned it, was like trying to do stuff
tried.
himself.
He tried.
We're still
valiant effort.
Fix his correction. Like a lot of the time, there's some people that like they think that they're doing good to their house, and they're really not. So you guys are still correcting some of the mistakes.
Yeah, but we're almost there.
But it was worth it though, right? Because you guys got it for a great price. You got a huge lot. You got the trampoline back there now. I see you got like you set up the little pergola and stuff, so you guys are chilling back there.
Got the Tesla charger on the side of the house. So I just bought a Tesla with the HELOC, so you know what I mean.
There you go.
Because I commute, so I need electric. Yeah, gas get much, so I was like, no, it is. And even the last year or so, I've been talking to you like, man, should we sell? Should I sell? Like I've been ready to sell. My wife don't want to sell because she's like, this is our home. We're moving. But I'm like, we can make $400,000. She's like, but then what? And I'm like, we're gonna rent and wait for this market to crash. But I mean, So it was the best investment of my life for sure.
That's what's up.
Something I want to know is, for our listeners and people that are going to gain knowledge from this or just entertainment stuff, because you have been, a staple in multiple industries. Like you said, you did real estate, you're in the nightlife, you're well connected in the area. What is like either a transaction, say in the nightlife, or a business transaction, a story that you have top of mind for our listeners to hear that really could help educate them or just entertain them, because you've probably been through a bunch of shit in your life, it seems like.
Oh man, I don't even know. Business wise, entertainment, business is never really entertaining. When it comes to me, I'm a numbers guy. Mm-hmm. I'm math. I can do math in my head like nothing. I've always done numbers well. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna keep it real with you, and this is what it is. This is what we got to do. I don't like excuses. My boss don't like excuses. So this is what it is. So business wise, it's pretty cutthroat. But I'm cool as hell at the same time. So I'm not gonna come at you sideways. But if you mess up, then I'm not gonna do business. You're not worth my time. I don't have time or energy to get to everybody. So if I trust you to do this with you, we're gonna do it. If it don't work, sorry, you had your chance. Far as stories,
like, is there anyone that you worked with before? Like, I know you're about your business. Anybody like that you worked with before, or like a story that you can remember that was just like something that was crazy, or like?
We could just talk about the NBA finals. We've done 3+ with the Warriors now. So this last one was crazy. Yeah. Everybody saw Henny Klay. That's been a year.
Are you the one just giving him the bottle? Like, go crazy.
Basically. Yeah. If you follow my Instagram, Bill the Beast 1, you'll see it. So, but that's years in the making. That's a relationship too. Mm-hmm. So I had in the first championship, or maybe it was the second. I don't remember.
That was crazy with the Moet bottle with Steve Kerr with the
that was the last one. So that was a hard.
That was crazy.
When I first met Klay was at Infusion Lounge, and he came in with his brother Michael, who was playing for the Dodgers at the time, and he's like, "I only drink vodka." So I'm like, "All right, here's Belvedere. That's part of our portfolio, and got some Veuve Clicquot champagne, very calm." Next time, Harlot. He's more lit. They're all upstairs. That was probably the best one.
He's working his way. Working his way to the Henny.
That was actually a fun. I was at that.
That was the best championship party because it was the night up.
Which year?
I forget what year that was, but
hold on, I'll tell you right now because I had the picture of Kerr holding the bottle. Yeah. That I gave, or not Kerr. I had a Curry had a bottle, but I gave Kerr the Magnum bottle, and he was chugging out there. So that went viral. Like next day, I'm on Yahoo. I'm on USA Today. My Instagram went crazy. Hold on, right here, 2017. Yeah. So that was the night of. And Draymond went on TV like, "We're going to Harlot." So like everybody's out the door. Shit, more security. So that year was crazy. But then this year, it's gradually. And this year, Klay deserted more than ever, Coming 2 years in a row, so I was like, no one could tell nothing to Klay. Klay is having his moment.
He's a national treasure.
Yeah,
the guy's a national treasure.
Every moment of this, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So just seeing him live his best life and on Henny and Moet, and my team hitting me, and people was like, "I seen you on ESPN," because we were in the parade and.
They love you right now. They
gotta love you. We're already planning for next year.
What are you gonna do? You gonna get us there?
I like this attitude.
The price went up.
Yeah, for real. So what, like, tell us a little bit more about your like position with Hennessy. Like, what's your goal? Like, what are you here for, Hennessy?
So it
like,
is evolved so much over 9 years. You know, when it first started, it was key account manager. So we're using all our brand connects, all our club connects. You know, at the end of the day, we're supposed to make sure that our cases move more or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
During the pandemic, it shifted to influencer, so which none of us liked the title.
Right.
Comes with stigma kind of.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
You're not, people don't like when you have the name influence. Like, don't take me serious. Like, bro, I've been doing.
It was
this
cool for a
forever.
moment.
Yeah.
Until everybody
Random
started trying to be
yeah.
influenced. Everybody started utilizing what we already did. I mean,
Right.
we created this space
Yeah.
a decade ago, and now everybody's trying to use it.
So
and
call him an ambassador, people. All right, not an influencer.
Yeah, and even ambassador, like, so we're not technically ambassadors anymore. I still like that word.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm the face of the brand when it comes to the Bay. If
Right.
you say Hennessy, someone be like, oh, I know.
I mean, but
No,
before I
think
met
of
you,
Yeah.
that's how I knew
That's
you.
it.
You know, so.
And,
I
you
mean,
know, E40 being ambassador of the Bay, I'm like, oh, ambassador?
Exactly.
I fuck with that.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I know you're.
I'll take that title.
Yeah, I like that.
If Uncle Earl's doing it, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like, influence, nah. Ambassador?
Yeah.
100%. That's dope. So, what's the future have for you? You know, I know you just had the baby and
So for me now, it's just, you know, I'm out a little less, more cultural moments, bigger moments. And the Bay as a whole, you go out, you see it, like, it's just changed over the years, you know. The movement of the people that were born in the Bay, leaving the Bay,
right.
the influx of people that aren't from the Bay coming in, the younger generation that aren't from here that don't know the culture.
Right.
They're shifting the culture, and it's weird. It's different, but we are still the Bay, and we're still holding on. And just really working with those in the community, whether it's nightlife, whether it's music, whether it's sports, whether it's tech, people that are true to the culture, uniting them, because that's what helped us during the hyphy movement, was uniting every city. You know, people weren't funking with each other like that. They were like, no, we on this thing, we on the national hype, we trying to get on MTV, we trying to get on BET.
Right.
So now just trying to bring that energy back, and it's a little different because we don't have the same influx of people that were born here. Back in the days, 2010, the streets were filled. Every club was packed. And it was just the same energy. Now you get people in this. The one thing that makes us unique and special is our diversity. You know, and that's anybody that comes from out of market, from New York, everybody say they're like, damn, I like the Bay.
It's crazy because I was in the music industry before real estate, right? I was touring with cats like Swayze and in the studio making music with some people that I know you know as well. So like Trev Case, Pilo, Clyde Carson's my big bro. So we're in the studio, right? And it's funny because whenever I lived in LA for 12, 13 years, right? So I'm down there as a kid, like, all right, producing, tour managing, rapping, singing, doing all these things in studio sessions, and everybody from the Bay just migrates together, and we all become homies. I had this conversation with my buddy. He sent me Rex Life Raj, his freestyle from Sway. He's like, you know this guy? I was like, bro, we all ran in the same clique in LA. It's funny because no matter where you are from the Bay, just the swagger, the lingo, the confidence, the bravado.
You can point each other out.
You all kind of migrate because you're in LA. Everybody's like trying to do something, trying to be what they're not, and we are just who we are. You know, like I said, it's in us, not on us, right?
Yeah,
and
total different beat of the drum.
It's a whole different beat of the drum, and then whenever we all get together, it's just like, who the fuck are those guys?
The energy.
And everybody, we all just mob together, and to this day, it's like we hop off the plane and coming back from San Diego. Pilo's just sitting there. He's like, Blaine, what's good? We're just like, you know, so it's like no matter where we see each other, we all come together. And it's just like, and that's why people come from out of town and they want to be here because they want to soak up that energy, right? So, I mean.
They're not worried about it. Like, they feel the positive. But I think that's also where it shifts. You know, it's more crime, more issues, more beasts within that. So it's trying to get away from that and try to start building again instead of tearing everything down, because, like, you know,
they're quick to tear it down in like the bureaucracies of everything, and like the politics are quick, especially in the nightlife industry. It's not easy, you know. Like, a lot of people don't understand. Like, they're like, why don't you do more hip hop parties? Why don't you do you know, this and that? It's not easy, especially in like San Francisco with the politics.
San Francisco, especially right now, like, they're losing so many parties. A lot of parties are shifting to Oakland, and San Jose is pretty holding strong, but just coming out the pandemic, you know what I mean? It's like it almost gave these cities excuses.
That was tough, man. San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, we're like.
Still limping along
So,
right
you know,
now.
I got 19 markets on my team, and we're on calls every week, and everybody's like, oh, this and that. And I'm just like, yeah, we're still shut down. So it's like, they're like, oh, I'm going to come out there. I'm like, yeah, give me a couple months.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not cracking yet. Like, now we're starting to get there, but we were the last one to react to everything. We were the first to react, and then the last to unreact.
Exactly.
Right? So,
then they got monkeypox coming along. So
it's almost like now what excuse can they have, right? Like, just shut us down. So I'm to the point, like, obviously I'm cautious, but I'm also like, I can't stop. Like, I sat down for 2 years, and now I got this. I got to make this money. I got to make it happen.
It's my livelihood. I got
and you know, watching the whole industry struggle for 2 years. You know, like all these people just lost their jobs. So it's like, you know what I mean? Now I'm trying to help them out. Like, that's what we did during the pandemic. Like, anything I could do with the DJ, we were going live, doing like virtual live things, like get them money, like anything we could do to help.
That's why that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah,
is because
that was your transition.
I toured for 10, 12, years, just moving, and that's all I was doing, just city to city, state to state. Blaine's Instagram, he's on an airplane, he's on a stage, he's doing a festival, he's doing something, he's here, he's there, and then it's like, doosh. I remember the day my first son was about to be born, and we did a show in the city, and then we're going to Hawaii like the next week, and then boom, pandemic hit. And luckily, I was like, all right, my girl's like 9 months pregnant, and then I'm about to hop on a plane. That shit got shut down, especially in Hawaii. They're like, yo, we're locking down everything. And
100.
And then sure enough, that next week when I was supposed to be in Hawaii, my son was born. So blessing, felt like a curse.
Ugly blessing.
Right, yeah, you're like, man, like I can't go do what I'm here to do. Boom, son's there. Born. Now I get to experience that. Now it's like, okay.
Now you're here for what you're supposed to be here for.
What I'm supposed to be here for. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, can't tour. I have my money saved. I was, good with my funds. So I have, that 6 cushion, to year, reserves to be able to function and move and then pivot.
Before inflation.
Exactly. Exactly. And luckily I made the move before that, right? And then I'm like, James, all right, like my mom's been in real estate. She's, a CEO of a lending company. She helps run Rise Group with the mortgage side. And I was like, okay, you did real estate for this long. All right, what do I got to do? Call James. And we're just like, he's like, bro, just come pull up with me.
Like, I
know you got connections of people that want to sell their home. You can learn from me. Take my test, out the gates running. And it's like the best pivot of my life, and crazy for the pandemic for our industry, right? It just fucking closed the door on us hella fast. And it's like, what do we do? Which is crazy. So I feel you on that.
Well, you bought, what, was that 2020?
December 2019. It
was 19, so it was right.
Or was it December 2020?
No, you guys.
No, December 2020.
It was 2020.
Yeah,
so
it was
because the pandemic was still a thing.
Yeah,
well, it was like coming out of like.
No, it was. We're in the
still had masks.
It was like you closed with COVID.
Yeah, that was,
you did. Yeah,
so it was December. So it was winter. So like when everything was really spiking.
Yeah. But that's crazy because you were still like you were in that industry and you bought during that time and you were kind of
so I got furloughed from Hennessy, but I still had Stanford, and then once they brought us, we were furloughed for about 4 months, and that's when they brought us back as influencers. Like, all right, because they're a great company, and they're like, we can't lose you. We don't want to lose you, and we don't want to do you like that. But we got to figure out what we can do with you. So they made us influencers. Everything is
ambassadors. Ambassadors.
Yeah. So
/ ambassador.
Yeah. Once we got a couple months on that, I'm like, all right, we got this on payroll. We got the paychecks. Let's move forward with the loan. Everything. A blessing. And the whole pandemic in general, such as yourself, is what I've said. It was an ugly blessing.
Right.
Because obviously it was so much ugly going around. But for me personally, it was a blessing because it's the first time in my life in 20 years and 8 years with my wife or whatever it might be that I actually had to sit still. And I couldn't do anything. We're trying to figure out what park to go to where people aren't at. But the bond with my son, who at the time was 2, going
that's
on
big,
3.
man.
Yeah, so I built this bond with my son. Like I always had a bond, but then I really built that bond. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a blessing. And it also, before the pandemic, I was starting to get burnt out. And just in general, people because doing what we do, you deal with so many people, and people will just in your DMs, just small talk about nothing to before they ask for something. It's like I was over people. Like I'm a social person, but I became antisocial. You know what I mean?
It's like they don't hit you up until it's everyone hits you at the same day. Like you throw a myth party, everyone's like, "What's up? What's up? Can I get
in?" You need them, they ain't know what
There's a lot of stimulation.
When you don't need them, you got 1,000 people like, "Oh, you changed." Like, yeah, I'm trying to get this change. Damn it! Like I ain't got time for you. Like, are you helping me? Or are you making it more harder? So it definitely helped me regain my love for people, being away from people. And I was like, okay. All right, maybe people ain't so bad. I'm tired of walking away from people for 2 years and this and that, and teaching my son to be antisocial when he's trying to learn how to be social. So that was a struggle, you know, finally getting to go to school and still wearing a mask and trying to teach him how to be friends with people when before we're telling him to stay away from people. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying to teach him this, and I'm teaching myself at the same time, literally, because, you know, I was so turning antisocials. Now I'm going to have to return myself into social to learn how to get back out here in this new world. So,
Yeah, how to navigate
full circle, mind blown now that I just said it
out loud.
I was like, wow.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
So I think just to cap on that is people. It may be hard right now. You know, it may seem like you're going nowhere. Push through that next, you know, strike of the shovel. You might find gold. You know?
Well, listening to this last night is you can't lose if you don't quit. Right? Like that's a lot of it. You know what 100%. I mean? Like Jordan said it, like you have all these people that kind of say the same exact thing. But you cannot lose if you do not quit. Like that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
100%. That's what, and it's funny because my son actually repeats this now. Like he'll shoot the ball 50 times in the back. He's like, I'm not gonna quit. None of this, because I have all these little statements on my wall in the man cave, and he's always, what does this say? What does this say? And I'm like reading it to him, and he's actually soaking it up. So to see it from him is awesome. And
that's dope.
And at the end of the day, like you said, if you don't quit, you hit rock bottom. Like where else you gonna go?
Like, you can't lose.
Climb up. You are a man, you are a woman, you have your own strength, and you can continue to build strength the more you work out, right? When you work out, you tear your muscles, it gets stronger.
Right.
Your whole mentality, your mind is the same way. Build a beast. That's what it means.
Hey.
That's what they say. Like it's working out, but it's a mentality. Like, end of the day, if you just keep building, they will come.
Right.
Make moves that start movements.
Make moves that start movements. Shout out to
I think it's very like what you went through, especially like you two, especially with the pandemic, but obviously everyone's adjusted. Like whether you adjusted like during that 2020, 2021 year, or like for us, real estate is adjusting now. Like they're feeling that fall off now. And it's good for some people. It's good for, you know, it's almost bad for most of the industry. But I mean, for you, you have to go through that mentality of like having to strive. You know, we're talking about not quitting or adversities and you having to shift, and there's gaps in your, you know, maybe your market or gaps in you having to rebuild. A lot of people I feel in the real estate industry, especially right now, are doing that. Like they're trying to reinvent themselves, or they're trying to incorporate technology, or they're trying to incorporate social media now because they never had to rely on that. But I mean, what do you do? What did you do, or how do you stay that focused? And what's your next, I guess, like your next vision for yourself coming out of this? Like, how do you see the Bay growing from like a social standpoint? Because it used to be really like clubs, like 2015 to like 2018 or so, 2019. Like San Francisco actually was really cool. It was fun. Like, there was a lot of harmony with a lot of like, you know, nightlife, you know, venues. There was multiple nights. A lot of harmony, right? You don't have that anymore. And how do you build that back as being an influence, not an influencer, but how to being an influence in the Bay Area, and how do you kind of like push that? Because there's a lot of people in real estate right now that are doing that, and obviously other industries too. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think you can tie the industry that I'm in and the industry you guys are in the same way, like utilizing your relationships and unifying those relationships. The more people you know that do good business, the better overall business will be, right? So it's the same with nightlife. It's trying to get people to put their egos to the side, work together for the better good, like coming together to have multiple nights, have an understanding within the industry, making sure that everybody's working, like these DJs that are coming out of a pandemic trying to DJ on live or whatever else. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's what the Bay is about, which is unity. So it's like truly unifying your industry in any way you can and doing your part to make a difference. And then everything comes full. From my life and from what I experienced, like the more good you do and the more good you do to more people, those people start connecting, and everything comes around. And that's the one thing everybody says, so what do you do for a living? I connect dots. Like, I just make it happen. I connect dots. Like, what do you need? Oh, I got somebody for that. Right. So, and like you, closing my house, you brought this man to, you know, make my wife feel comfortable. This is what we got to do. We got to do, like, this might need to be done. This might need to be done.
it's connecting the dots.
Right,
So.
right. I mean, and I've, appreciate you and Monica, because I've had more clients come from you guys, like referring my business and stuff like that. So I know when people hit you up, I come top of mind. So I appreciate that, because
That's big.
Yeah,
Made a stressful
yeah,
moment
yeah.
easy as can be.
Right. Yeah.
So, but it was a huge blessing, and it forever changed my family's life.
Yeah.
Generational wealth. You know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't come from that, but now my sons will. So
Right.
it's
Sons, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Sons,
Plural
that's,
now.
That's
So.
that's new.
Yeah.
That's new.
Well, I guess I kind of want to know too, though, is like, what's up next for the Bay entertainment wise? I mean, like, what do you see?
I see more festivals.
Yeah.
Bigger events. I don't know if the consistency for like multiple nights will be the same anytime soon. But I
That
see,
makes sense, though.
Yeah,
That
but
makes sense,
I
though.
see the bigger moments. I know that's what I'm focusing more on.
Yeah.
Just to use your energy more wisely and
Right. That's
and
big.
build the bigger moments, because Wednesday, Tuesday,
Right.
even Thursdays it's a lot harder to do, especially now because you don't have these same youthful kids that go out on those nights.
Right.
Like, it's an influx of new people. So just really unifying and using that energy wisely for these bigger events to really showcase the energy that I was raised on. You know what I mean? And the Bay is whole. Like, this is who we are. This is what we are. We ain't gone nowhere. A lot of my people moved away, but we're still here. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, even for you and your growth and like where you're at, it's like, like you said, use your time wisely.
Yeah.
Have these, and the nightlife in the Bay Area has always been, at least for me when I was in the industry, it was tough, because like your San Francisco crowd is a certain amount of people. You got multiple events on one night. You're sharing clients. You're playing musical chairs. Maybe they might show up to your event for a little bit, then move to the next one. But if you're able to put together big events and not really have to compete, you guys all share, like you said, unify, put together a big event.
Well, also doing the bigger events, you're bringing back the people from the Bay that don't live in the Bay. So now you got the people in the Valley, people that moved out to
quality.
SAG.
You're giving them
Quantity.
time to plan to get there and to promote it
and
to
making
make it
a bigger
bigger.
thing. Like, oh, come out on Wednesday. No. But if it's Saturday or Sunday day party with the artists, this and that, like, oh, we can come back and feel those vibes already before I go back to the Valley out of the Bay. I'm still from the Bay. So you got to give them that, and it's such a dope moment because you can just feel the energy, right? And it's like a reunion. It's just like Sundays we just did. Just feeling that reunion is.
I had a little FOMO.
It increases the energy like in yourself. Like, it's motivation. Like, you just feel
people
like,
are gearing up for that moment instead of like spending
Yeah.
that energy like 3 nights a week. It's like, no, I'm focused. I'm gonna work my ass off until I got my ticket for this.
And let loose a little
And then
bit.
it's like
and
that
then
night
back
you
to
go
work.
crazy and then back to work. Exactly. It's like it's healthy for everybody.
100%.
Healthy for you,
Yeah.
because you're not every single day,
Yeah,
promoting
100%.
or going out and pushing the brand of Hennessy. You get to just gear up for this one moment, get as many people in there at once. That's gonna still be the numbers
best
of
job
that
you can,
those little nights, and just let it all out. Boom, and then re-game plan for the next one.
Yep.
So it's very tactical.
Taking that energy from
Yeah.
that event and like, all right, now you feel it.
Yeah,
now you're like
I wanna do it
motivated
again. I
to
wanna
go
do it
big.
again.
Build this beast. Let's go.
Let's go.
dope.
That's
That's
lit. I fuck with it.
All right. You have any
Well-
other questions?
I mean, I guess you have anything you want to shout out?
Yeah.
Any kind of events or anything that you can tell us?
Chris Brown on Tuesday at
Hey.
Complex in Oakland. That's gonna be huge. I mean, see Breezy. Oh my God, these women are crazy. It's like my DMs, like, can I take a picture of them? All
Yeah.
this? Like, you know what? I'm
Hey,
cleaning
some of
my
those
hands
photos are
all
pretty
of
funny.
that.
Yeah. Some of those photos are. He's cool for doing that.
Go shoot your shot.
He's hitting them though.
Oh.
They paying. I don't know what they're paying, but I think it's like 1,000 or something.
I think it's
like
1,000 a
beat-
shot, right? Yeah,
he's
1,000 a
doing, like
shot.
prom poses and
But
shit.
that's like that's their Instagram photo for the year.
Yeah,
At the end of
right,
the year,
yeah.
It is like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
their top one. Say 1,000 for
when
your top picture.
when their
you know?
granny, they're like, I was dating Chris Brown.
Yeah,
Look at this
exactly.
photo. Like,
Chris Brown sniffed my hair.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yo.
Okay, so Tuesday coming
Tuesday,
in.
and then hasn't been fully announced, but we're finalizing details. But Sundays and Sunday session unifying for Sunday's session at Myth.
That's gonna be crazy.
All white Labor Day party at Myth in San Jose. We're bringing it back. It's been 4 or 5 years since we've done it, and then we never worked directly with Sundays to do it. So it's a lot going into this, but we got 2 weeks to do it. And I think I was like with all 3 of our brands, me, Marcus, DJ Nappy, who owns, he's a DJ, but he used to own Avery, which closed during pandemic, but he owns like 13 restaurants.
Gotcha.
And he
Yep.
still DJs, throws parties Thursdays at Nova, and then Anthony, Anthony presents. So
Right.
all three of us combined, it's gonna be a vibe.
Yeah, that's gonna be nuts. I'm kind of mad that I won't be around.
Where you going?
Well,
Miami?
this guy. Actually, maybe Miami on that
I'm
day.
gonna stop in Miami. Yeah, I'm gonna stop in Miami. I'll be in Colombia, but
Cartagena. Okay.
Yeah,
You're gonna be muggy as
I
hell.
was like, you haven't even made the call yet.
Cartagena's nice, but it's not as shit. It feels like Miami.
Yeah, we might do Medellin or Cartagena. We'll see. I mean, we haven't finalized.
All right, Pablo.
You on the I was like you on the cocaine
All right, Pablo.
tour over here.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, seeing what's going on.
Narcos.
I heard it's nice though. I heard it's nice.
Yeah, it is
so,
nice.
So we have a good time. But yeah, that's gonna be crazy at Myth.
Yeah.
I actually really like Myth. I always have a good time there.
Yeah,
Especially on Sundays.
Yeah. Well, we
Sundays
did
is the
it
move.
for 5 years, and then we left. Started doing our own things and whatnot. But bringing it back, like it's literally what rebuilt my brand. Like me and Nappy doing that when he approached me, and like, all right, let's do it, and just slowly building it to like we were at capacity about 5, and there's 300 people outside, 800 people inside. Like it's what got me my job with Hennessy, basically, because it built my platform to that level. Right. So to bring it back around and try to do this, I'm ready to work.
Do you see yourself in this industry, like entertainment industry, like forever?
In some sense or form, like, because at the end of the day, I connect dots. So
right.
Even yesterday, like, I'm working on a Canelo in Vegas for the fight weekend out there. I'm trying to book DJs and doing all this stuff, and then working on Sunday sessions, and just I'm at home with my baby, but I'm also on text, like emails. Right.
Like it's like a different type. Yeah,
it's event planning, which has always been part of my gig too. Marketing, event planning, promotions, everything. So more on the event planning and just connecting dots one way or another. Working with artists, to help promote them or market them. Like I have so much knowledge and things that can be utilized by so many different people. It almost don't make sense for me to just bundle myself and go hide away like I'm done. Like because I still can share this.
Right.
If it makes me dollars, it makes me sense. At the moment, it doesn't really matter. Right. Like it's just paying it forward. So
that makes a lot of sense actually. So
Man,
that was
feeling good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
That was a lot. I'm feeling good off this.
Yeah.
So am I.
This Hennessy. I think I have stuff to do today, but I think I'd rather just continue this. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any other questions.
Anything closing?
Well, I just appreciate you coming on here. I think sharing your story, and more so just your passion, your drive, and a word that came to mind this the whole time that I got from you when I'm thinking of who Shawn is now is relentless, man. You're a relentless guy, and it just seems like you put in the work, and you are where you are for a reason because of the relentless work you put in. So I appreciate you showing up here today and spitting the game that you've accumulated over the years.
Like you said, shooters shoot, winners win. You don't. I love to see when people get faced with adversity and they don't let it tear them down, or they don't let it slow them down. You just figure it out, right? Like we all.
America loves a feel-good story.
Yeah.
They also love to tear you down. So you got to be careful when you start climbing. You got to be careful.
Every couple months, it's something new. You know what I mean? So it's just how do you deal with that adversity?
The grit don't quit, man.
100%.
So on that, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Brother.
Big one, man. Cheers.
See you today. Let's go.